Welcome back. You're still with us on Countdown on Bloomberg Quint. 23 minutes left for the markets to shut shop. The markets have come off a little bit, maybe from the highs of the day. Nothing too dramatic, but has off from the highs of the day. The Nifty banked to 264 points, so from about 1%, just come off marginally in the session. The turnover should come up on your screen momentarily, is lower than what it usually is, just about 21,400 crores. So we'll probably nudge 25,000 crores at best in the session today. The market breadth would have looked slightly wobbly. No, not, I mean, still holding on. Let's wait and watch if it ends in these levels or no. And the world markets are doing okay. The US Dow futures, of course, up in the green. The European markets are doing rather well for themselves as well. Remember, they had an okay close in Friday's trade. The Dow futures are reacting to what is seemingly a truce for the time being. Let's find out, though, what's made it to Sharad Dubey's list of the Fab 4 stocks of the day. Johnson right now with those. Sharad, good afternoon. What's looking solid?
Well, yes, the power pack as well as the infra pack is looking solid, Neeraj. The first stock I've picked up is Adani Power, which is up by almost more than 10%. It's almost at 17% right now after the board has approved the approval to acquire Korba West Power and GMR Chhattisgarh. This will actually increase the thermal capacity by almost 19% to 12,410 megawatts. Up next, we're having Anant Raj, which is up by almost 6.8% after the group has entered into a JV for a residential development program in Haryana with Birla Estate. So both of the companies will be paying around 380 odd crore rupees. Up next, we are having Deepak Nitrite, which is up almost 4% after it stated in its press release that the company will have a saving of almost $400 million in import substitutions. And the last stock of the day is Godrej Properties, which is up almost 8.6% after the company hit its lifetime high today, and also it is the biggest gainer in the Nifty Realty Index. Back to you.
Well, thanks a lot for that. Sharad, that's an interesting list of stocks out there. Start off this conversation with Dharmesh Kant of India Nivesh Securities. Joins us right now on the show with his thoughts. Dharmesh, good having you. Thanks much for joining in. While we can argue that real estate is a space that has done remarkably well in the session today as well, there's a clutch of other names which are showing a bit of a risk on. The SL Group stocks, all of them have a good move today. Z Entertainment is up about 3.5%. Dish TV is up about 5%. What's happening here? Is it some news which is getting these stocks excited, or would you reckon that it's a flash in the pan, short covering kind of a rally?
Yeah, good afternoon, Neeraj. And see, the very fact that real estate stocks are doing well, PSU banks are budging in the market, and some of the names which were taboo some time back are doing and are excited in the market is a cause of worry, because these normally lead to the last leg of the rally kind of a market. Any big correction, when it happens in the market and you see such kind of activity happening, so the breadth of the market remains very narrow. Even today it is 1:1 in spite of Nifty almost going 90 points up. So that is a cause of concern to us. As far as Z, SL, Dish, these are concerned, why you want to dabble in them when you know that the overhang, the promoters, the way they are stuck, is still there, and they have to sell stake to get out of this overhang. So maybe a couple of percentage point bounce back is there, but that is nothing fundamentally changes as far as what has been done with the entity by the promoter group. So I don't think one should be dabbling into those names. This market is best to sit on the sidelines and see how it is panning out, because even if you try to trade, 2-day uptake, 3rd day the uptake is lost. See what happened with the metal counters. So there is no sustainable gain in the market. So where you just can't make money. So that is the reason why we have advised our clients to sit on the sidelines, be ready with the money. We'll see post budget what to be done in the market.
You're not making any fresh investments, as in you're not advising any fresh investments at this point? Not even to the most stable names?
Yeah, no. At this juncture, we are not advising any fresh money to be deployed. Because if you look at monsoons, a couple of days has been good rainfall in Mumbai specifically, but these are patchy moves, 2, 3, 4 days kind of a rainfall, and then we take a judgment on the entire season is not a right way of looking at things, because already 1 month has gone a dry spell. So let's see how things pan out. to my mind and to the best of my judgment, I think we are heading in for a big correction post the budget. So things won't be easy, and that is the time when you can look at cherry picking, and there are plenty of ideas where you can do the cherry picking, but not now.
Okay. So the advice from Ramesh Kant is that it's better to sit on cash right now and wait it out post-budget to get more better investment opportunities. Last half an hour left to go. In fact, just the last 20 minutes left to go for close of trade today. Brijesh, any interesting spotting that you've managed to do with regards to specific stocks within the broader market space?
You can look at PSU banks, Devina. The two PSU banks which are catching my eyes is one is Union Bank. Sudden spike has been witnessed in it. Right now, its stock has been quoting at 83 rupees 40 paisa. The present rate can be used for accumulation purpose with the stop loss of 80 rupees 50 paisa. Play for the target of 87 to 88. And another call is Bank of India. A trend line breakout has been witnessed in it with increase in volume, which indicates the momentum for the higher side. Right now the stock is quoting at 90 rupees 90 paisa. Present rate can be used for a buying purpose with the strict stop loss of 87.5 or say 88, and play for the target of 93 as the first resistance, followed by 96 rupees for a short term bet is been concerned.
Okay. Well, what's catching my eye once again is Godrej Properties. That's up, doing very well. The other one which has come back from the ashes like a phoenix of sorts is VA-Tech Wabag. After a number of days of getting battered down, it's finally seeing some bit of green, 12% higher, 346 and counting for VA-Tech Wabag. How does it look on the charts, Amar Singh? A stock that's beaten down today bounces up and bounces up on fairly high volumes.
Yeah, I would say that this stock for the last, since the start of June, had corrected from almost 343 levels and to as low as 298, 300, and today has been a very sharp recovery for this particular stock. So, and it has breached its recent highs. Technically, I would say that the stock has got resistance around these levels, because if you look on the weekly chart, somewhere around 345, 350, that's a level of resistance, and if that is taken out, then the stock can rally, because the earlier high that it had made in the third week of March was 362 odd levels. So anywhere between 350, 365, that's a resistance zone, but the stock seems to be on an up move, and consistently sustaining above 340 levels, the stock could rally towards 365 odd levels in the short term.
Okay. Well, let's get a sense of what dealing rooms are recommending in the session today as well. Darshan Mehta is here with his channel checks. Darshan, good afternoon. What are you gathering from your sources?
Yeah, so Neeraj, IndusInd Bank is something that's been spoken about. Multiple brokerages coming out with notes in terms of, ahead of the merger that will happen. Some of the domestic funds are actively accumulating. It's up 1.5% in a market which is also doing well. So IndusInd, they believe that the merger synergies will come in, and ahead of the merger with Bharat Financial, which will happen this week, there is accumulation. Now look at some of the auto stocks. Despite some of them coming out with rather weak or average set of numbers, the index is doing well. Most of the auto stocks have managed to rebound. Some of the HNIs have indicated that weakness was anticipated, and they are buying into the weakness in the auto stocks. And finally, HDFC Limited, now that's up at record highs, up 2.5%. It's come ahead of HUL as far as market cap is concerned. So after TCS Reliance, HDFC Bank has become the fourth most valuable company by market cap, overtaking HUL. So there is traction, and dealers believe that momentum will continue.
Quite remarkable what's happening to quality, isn't it, Darshan? I saw a tweet about Bajaj Finance as well. That one is about 3,700. HDFC, fourth largest. HDFC Bank doing so remarkably well. Quality is attracting premium at another level.
Yes, it is.
It is quite astounding. Thanks, Darshan. Thanks so much for putting that into perspective. What about you, Dharmesh? What about HDFC?
Yeah, but that is what is happening. If quality is attracting premium, so what are the rest doing? So you're not finding value out there as far as valuations are concerned, or the earnings trajectory is not there. So this will continue. This polarization of between the good and the bad, or good and the not so good, will continue, and the market, the money will be attracted into top names. Like today, even TCS is doing fairly well. So if you look at the index pullers, is primarily TCS, HDFC Twins, ICICI Bank. These are the ones who have been taking the market up. But yeah, having said that, SDFC Twins has to be in your portfolio if you are large cap portfolio holder. So there is no denial on the fact. If you get a correction anywhere, if the market corrects and if it is corrected, you buy that, you always end up making money in these two stocks. So that's a buy from our end. But as of now, as I said earlier, this week per se, we are resisting from any buying investment bets as of now.
It's quite remarkable. Bajaj Finance is at 3,700, HDFC 2486, nearing 2,500, 3,701. That's up 0.5% too. And yeah, just that the quality names are doing so well for themselves. The other set of stocks and two names which have moved up, one for reasons that I can fathom, which is Escorts, because the numbers seemed a lot better than what the street was working with, and therefore Escorts is up 6.5%, 5 million shares traded today. This is despite the management categorically saying in the last month that they don't see the numbers improving in a hurry, but better than estimated. Two is Relaxo Footwear, 6.5% higher, moving up the value chain, has stopped making a lot of, or rather 4% higher, so it was up about 5% at a point of time. But quite remarkable the move in both of these names. Fundamentally, Dharmesh Kant, do you track either of these two names?
Yes, Scots, yes, and the point here is when market was contracting, Scots was managed to do well. They were able to snatch the market share from their peers like M&M, and this time also when the numbers are out, Scots have done fairly well. So the traction in the contraction has been pretty low in Scots. So but that is the reason I think the stock has been rewarded today. The stock price has corrected significantly, and valuation wise it now looks comfortable. So if we believe on the thesis that monsoon is going to pan out in a normal way, I mean 96% of the LPA today IMD came out and said if that happens out, so then it becomes a very good and attractive buy at current level. So maybe one can invest 30-40% in Scots as of now, and it would be a better bet than M&M given the kind of business divergence M&M is having as of now. So we do think 20-30% kind of stock price uptick can happen in Scots, but the caveat will be the monsoons should be normal going ahead. Relaxo Footwear I don't track, so won't be able to comment on that.
Okay. The oil and gas pack is taking a knock in today's session. Likes of BPCL, which is down about 4%. ONGC, the big one there, is down 4%. IOC is down 2.7%, and I would assume that even HPCL, which is not a part of the index, is down by about 2.5%. Is there more downside here, Brijesh? Specifically, an ONGC now at 161?
See, ONGC, if I talk about it, the stock was been trading in the range of 160 or 161 on the lower side, followed by 172 to 174 on the higher side. Now it has come to the lower band of this range. So at this juncture of time, no call. I mean, there would be an indecisive call would be there. But if it gives closing below 160, then definitely one can take a sell call in it with a stop loss of 164 and play for the target of 155 or even 152. But regarding the other OMC has been concerned, HPCL or BPCL or IOC. So that IOC is looking weak. Right now the stock has been quoting at 151. So if someone wants to go for a sell side, keeping a stop loss of 155, one can do STBT also for the target of 145 to 144.
And remember, Somit did this story on these oil marketing companies and how this quarter is not going to be a particularly great quarter of oil marketing companies on three counts. One, obviously, the election slowdown, which could hurt them. The other one is that this time around they would not be coming in with inventory gains, which they saw in quarter 4 of FY19 because of the steep, sharp drop in crude oil prices sometime mid-quarter. So, and the fact that there is subdued demand itself, which has been on a slower track. So, because of all these factors, for oil marketing companies, it might not land up being a very great quarter as such. Dharmesh, what would you do if you had some of these oil marketing companies in the portfolio?
Sell it. Just take if you are already making some money, exit. If you are not making money, then also exit. Because see, the way the crude is panning out and the type of international noise flow is there, I mean the news flow and the noises which are there, like Putin was on record saying that they would be cutting production along with Saudi and for 6 to 9 months. So these things will keep the traction up. And the moment I mean Brent reaches 70 plus, so intolerance of our side as far as fiscal deficit and everything is concerned creeps in, and that is when again it will hurt these oil marketing companies in the form of subsidy, because beyond a point you just cannot hike petrol and diesel prices. That is historically which we have seen, or the historical weight of evidence suggests that. So these are just mere trading bets, so you can play it with along with crude oil prices falling and going up with 10 to 15 days kind of a lag effect. So I don't see any value coming in. And the bigger on a very paradigm shift you can talk about is the way electric vehicles may come into play. So once if they are there, maybe 5 years from now, so where is the scope of these being multi-bagger and money being accumulated in these stocks? Because if electric vehicle comes, refiners are the worst hit. So our take is just stay away from them.
Okay, got that. We're just a few minutes away from market closing, so let's get in our technical experts to talk about that one top call that they have for trade tomorrow, buy today, sell tomorrow idea, or sell today, buy tomorrow idea. Let's start off with you, Brijesh.
See, I have 2 calls. As Powers is looking good, as you have pointed out, Adani Power right now 61 has been quoting. So one can do BTST in it with the stop loss of 59.5 and play for the target of 63. If momentum continues, then it can even go to the level of 60, what I have mentioned. Then there is another call from Adani Group, that is Adani Enterprises. A trendline breakout has been witnesses. Stock has been quoting at 154 on a cash segment. So one can look out to buy with the stop loss of 151, play for the target of 158. Even the target can be extended to the level of 162.
Okay. What about you, Amar?
I would say one stock to watch out is HDFC Limited. The way it has rallied today, also clearly technically strong on the chart. So one can look at this stock on the upside. The target is 2295 and the stop loss is 2175. So any pullback in this stock can definitely be used as a buying opportunity.
Okay. I mean, honestly, Neeraj, since you pointed it out, even I can't keep my eyes off Godrej Properties. I think day's high is 1119.6. Stocks not there. I mean, it notched that and came down again, but 11% now for Godrej Properties. And just in this last half an hour, after seeing that flat line from that initial pickup in the early morning session, the last half an hour has been pretty action-packed for this counter. 1.66 million shares have been traded on Godrej Properties already. DLF2 chiming in, but nowhere close to what Godrej Properties is doing. Some of the other real estate majors are also doing well. DLF is up about 1%, I think, 190 on the stock. Larsen & Toubro, that's sort of plateaued over the last few trading sessions, not done a whole lot much. 1557 on an L&T. Dharmesh, what would you do with the L&T?
The L&T has to be bought into, and infra is the space which will continue to be in the budget and in the investment board, because Government of India has no choice but to boost consumption, and infra is the route through which they would be boosting consumption, because whatever money comes, either it has to go into the subsidy of elevating poverty, or else the other way is to do the infra spending and create more jobs, and through that income in the hands of the people through consumption. So I think an L&T is a big conglomerate, so they do all type of activity, be it roads construction, civil construction, ports, airports, bridges, so plenty of things are lined up. So the stock may look expensive as of now based on the valuation multiple. It's trading at around 23 times 2-year forward earnings multiple, but it will attract that premium and it will be a good bet. So we are penciling it around 20-30% kind of growth in the stock price for next 1 year. On a EPS basis, we are penciling in 25% of a CAGR for next 2 years with a bit of improved margins in commodity prices are now suppressed. So it's a good buy in a portfolio. One may continue holding it and may add on, as I see, if the market corrects, you may add on more there.
We'll leave it at that. Dharmesh, thanks much for taking the time out and being with us. Appreciate your time. Another
Thank you so
real
much.
estate stock or consumption stock which is doing very well is Phoenix Mills. 665 would mean the stock is in or around its highs as well. So interesting move on Phoenix Mills in the session today. Look at that spike there. And lastly, Sunteck Realty and Bombay Dyeing are the other names. So we've spoken a lot about real estate. Just wondering, Amar, very quickly, 20-second answer. Phoenix Mills, Sunteck Realty, Bombay Dyeing, any of those looks good on the charts?
I would say that Sunteck Realty looks good on the chart, so this stock has a potential to rally towards 480 levels, and on the downside, the stock has got support coming around 440 levels.
Okay, Jaman, stay on. We'll start wrapping up the markets for our viewers and then come back for a final comment. It's not been a bad close. It's not at the high point of the day, but it is higher than what we started off with. So, in a matter of speaking, you can look at it both ways. The world markets are doing a lot better, but we've not done badly. About 0.6% higher for the Nifty 50. The Nifty Bank and the Sensex have done much better, about 0.8%. So good going. The mid caps and small caps could have done more, yes. Look at the mid cap index. It's been largely flat. A small cap index too on a day like this, just about 0.5% in the market, but too is nothing too dramatic. So very even Steven kind of a move for the broader end of the spectrum. But the large caps have done well. The start of the week is decent. At the end of the week, we have the budget. So interesting to see what happens. Let's bring you up to speed with what's moving and what's not. And I'll talk about the index first and then hand it over to Devina for what's happening at the broader end of the spectrum. Zee Entertainment is up 8%. Now, is this an inkling of some deal coming? I do not know. But the stock is certainly doing very well. Dr. Reddy's, Bajaj Auto are amongst the gainers. Tata Motors 3%, HDFC 2.5%. Eicher Motors and HDFC Bank have done well. IndusInd Bank and Hero MotoCorp too have done well. What has not done well is BPCL, and then the PSUs pack. So BPCL, ONGC, IOC, Coal India, etc. have all not done all that well. Titan has corrected a bit under pressure. HUL is slightly under pressure. Maruti is under pressure too. But I must say, guys, I think the stock of the afternoon has to be Zee Entertainment. If you can just take the camera back up on the screen and look at the top stock, and that is Zee Entertainment, up about 8% in the session today. It's quite remarkable what Zee Entertainment is doing right now. And I guess that the mood cheer would have passed on to the other SL Group companies too. Maybe Dish TV 2 has done very well, Devina.
For sure, Neeraj. Dish TV 2 is resonating the same as what Zee has been doing. So probably the market hooking on to something here that we've not probably put a pulse on. So you've got the mid cap and the small cap index themselves lagging what the large cap index has been doing, because Nifty 50, led higher by the Bank Nifty, has outperformed the broader market space. Individual stocks, though, within the broader market, mid cap and small cap index, have really shown some strength in today's session, and particularly Godrej Properties. This is the record close for Godrej Properties. The stock is finally ending 9% higher. At one point, the high point of the day for Godrej Properties was 1119.65. Not close there, but no one's complaining, trust me. The other one is Adani Power. The stock has got double-digit returns today, this afternoon, up 18%. And as you can see, flatlined the entire day. The last 1 hour of trade is where the stock shot up about 18% gradually, but it did in the last last 1 hour of trade. Sunteck Realty, Bombay Dyeing, so the real estate pocket as a whole has been doing well in today's session. Sunteck Realty is up about 6.5%. You've got Bombay Dyeing, which is up about 6.5%. Dish TV, like Neeraj highlighted, what Zee has been doing, it's a mirror image of sorts for Dish TV as well, which is up about 7%. V8 Equabag, very strong volumes in today's session, and the stock closes with gains of about 11%. You've got Jet making a comeback, and then Manpasand Beverages in the last 7 days has accumulated, I think, closer to about 40%. So that's good going for a Manpasand Beverages. No entry point, because it's been knocked on upper circuit on every single day over the last 7 days of trade. Ekarshi Motors is the other one. This too has put up a very strong show in the last 7 days of trade, and Escorts in today's session session 2 is done well for itself. Among some of the losers, just to highlight a few of them for you, you've got a Jain Irrigation, which was lost out in today's session. Then following that is Eros International that continues its glide path lower, and that's locked down on lower circuit. And from the tourism space, both the counters, Thomas Cook, which was down about 5.5% in today's session. Following that is Cox and King having news of its own, and we've seen the stock move low over the last few days as well. Stock down on lower circuit yet again for Cox and King. So that's what you've got in terms of the overall market mood. Obviously, the advanced decline ratio, there must have been marginal improvement towards the end of the trading session, Neeraj. But for now, I mean, we can just be happy with the fact that you've got a good, strong start to the week.
Yeah, let's see if it lasts. The globe will be supportive as the world markets are, of course, showing. Let's wait and watch if indeed that percolates into some gains tomorrow as well. Bring up the turnover. I think it will be tepid. Doubt will be have crossed 25,000 crores on the cash side. We haven't. Just about 25,000 crores, 24,778. So we'll go down as a day of low turnover.
And a bigger number we had on Friday's session on the first day of the new series was about 6.5. We're just about nudging 6 right now.
Yeah, so the volumes are a bit to be left, leave a bit to be desired today, but maybe pre-budget calm. Let's not go out and do too many trades. Maybe that's what's working out, but the volume's definitely lower. The contributors and HDFC Twins, etc., would all be at the top of the list. It's all heavyweights, Devina. The top 4 weighted stocks are essentially the ones which will help the index do well today.
Energy and oil and gas takes a backseat in today's session. So NGC, BPCL, IOC looking weak. Aside from that, just a quick look again at the advanced decline ratio and how it looked by the end of trade. So kept on converging, and by the end of trade, I think we're almost even keel in terms of the advances and the decline. So no major takeaway from there.
Yeah, nothing too dramatic, but let's wait and watch what could happen in the next few days in the run-up to the budget. Final thoughts from our experts. And Amar, with the Bank Nifty doing what it has done today, does it look poised for more gains? I mean, if you had longs, would you believe that you will make some more money on those longs?
Yeah, there is some likelihood for the same, but technically the levels which I spoke of, 31,700, 800, those are levels where it will meet with resistance, and also one needs to be, I would say, slightly cautious ahead of the budget, because as I said, the daily charts still do not inspire that much confidence. Yes, there is very strong support at lower levels, but upside till we don't see a consistent sustenance above 12,000 mark for Nifty or 31,700, 800 for Bank Nifty, I would say we could witness some choppy trading sessions.
What about you, Brijesh? Would you believe that there could be more gains for the Nifty Bank or the Nifty?
See, Neeraj, I would be thinking like this is a pre-budget rally for 2-3 days, and what I have been witnessing is that today also we have made a gap of opening and we sustained at the crucial level of 11,850 and we gave closing above that. No doubt 11,950 to 11,970 band is been acting as a resistance, but what I've been witnessing is that Bank Nifty, if it still it's been holding 31,100 or the 31,150 marks, and on the higher side it has a resistance at 31,500 to 31,600. But probability is that we are heading for a new top, and chances are Nifty, if it gives closing above 11,950, then we might try to touch the 52-week top, or even we would be making a new 52-week top.
All right, we'll leave it at that, gentlemen. Brijesh and Amar Singh, appreciate you both taking out the time this afternoon and sharing your thoughts with us here on the platform. And with that, it's also a wrap on the show from Neeraj, myself, and the entire team that's put this show together. Thank you so much for watching. The Market Wrap comes up next.